Welcome back, YouTubers. I am David of the podcast Casual, and I just want to say hi to all of our fans and subscribers, and this to all of the trolls. So, I thought I would talk about a little something different today. So, over the first 3 weeks I've been in Atlanta, I wanted to check out some card game stores, interested in trying to get a little more competitive with card games or video games. I visited a few places, and I came upon this place in my suburb of Atlanta. It's called Duluth, by the way. They're called Wasteland Games, and while I was there, a group of people introduced me to a game called the Force of Will trading card game. And I must say, it had to have been, I don't know, 5, 6 years since I seriously played a card game, and at least over a decade since I actually got interested enough to play a game for fun. So interested, in fact, that I, in fact, bought an entire booster box. Well, I kind of mixed and matched here. I know this is the third edition, the third set of Force of Will, but I mixed and matched between the second and the third set. I did play Magic the Gathering for a while, but I kind of died off. That was back in 2010, 2011. And to be perfectly honest with you, Force of Will is very similar to that of the Magic the Gathering trading card game, except the art, at least in my opinion, looks a lot more, what's the word, animated, you could say. So I thought I would use this video to do what I said I would do in the Casual Mode podcast a few weeks ago and talk about the Force of Will trading card game, how to play it, the objective of playing it, and maybe even have a chance to show how the game goes. Ready? All right, here we go. So there are a total of 5 different types of cards in the game. You have your rulers. You must have one of these out, and I think only one as far as I understand it, out into the field. And these are basically your leaders of the deck. You must have them out on the field pretty much at all times. They start from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. And they help you out in a particular way in gaining stones. What are stones? These are stones. Now, there's 2 different types of stones. You got your basic stone, which you can have as much of as you possibly can. This is your magic stone of water, which summons water will. And this is a special stone. And in this case, this is called, as you can see here, a true magic stone, which means that you can only have one of this out on the field at one time. This special magic stone means that you can, I believe you can have 4 of them. I'm not 100% sure on that. Someone could probably correct me on that. But this card allows you to summon special mana, or in sometimes different types of mana. Like, for example, this one, Little Red, the Pure Stone, allows me to, I believe it was, yes, choose an attribute, pretty much choose a colored will of my choice, and it gets to produce one of that color. And then it does other things too, so as you can see, they got other activated abilities right there. It's also a continuous ability. Continuous means basically as long as it comes out on the field. Activate means you have to pay some kind of cost, like maybe, tapping it in order to activate it or something like that. Very similar to Magic the Gathering in that sense. And then, of course, there's Enter, which means when this card goes out on the field. There are many other that are available, but they're written in parentheses so that you know how to play them. These are Resonators. Basically, these are the first of 3 different types of cards that you can actually summon. You can see at the top left side here, there is, if this camera will focus, the top left side, they have certain colors and a number. So I'll take one up right here to the end here, and you can see the card here says it requires 1 water will. Another card right here has a number on it. It's 1 and a light will. And that means that you need 1 of any color. Basically, they call it white in Magic, and I know a lot of people at the store I went to call them white, blue, green, red, black, because they pretty much are just like that. And then 1 white. So basically, you would need 2 mana to summon this creature. The other 2 types that you can do are the addition, which pretty much means that you get to keep this out on the field permanently. And then you have the spell, which means that you get to cast that spell. As you can see here, there it says here, spell, chant, instant. Well, actually, that means that you can play this at any time as long as you have the will, or if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, the mana. All right, so what's interesting about this ruler is that it has an activated ability here. You can pay a certain amount of mana or whatever you got to do in order to flip it. And when you flip it, it can come out on the field and becomes its own, I want to say creature, but technically it's Resonator, but it's really called a J ruler. And it has its own attack and defense. It does certain abilities. It is probably going to be the strongest creature that you will have in your deck, at least in most cases. And if it ever dies, then it is flipped back and sent back into your reserve pile where it stays for the rest of the game. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't flip back. It pretty much stays like this. You can't just reflip it back or anything like that. It remains a J ruler for the remainder of the game. All right, so the requirements of playing this game are pretty simple. You need about 40 to 60 cards in your deck, and that's not counting the 10 of these that you need. At the same time, you also need at least one of these rulers. You can have no more than 4 copies of any card, with the exception of these basic stones. And once you make your deck, then you can play against other players. And I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to go ahead and put this back into my deck and show you how to play a game. The object, basically, you start off with 4,000 life points. And your resonators here, or maybe even other spell cards, can damage you based on their attack power. Like so, this one says 400. So basically that means that it can do 400 points of damage. I'm going to go ahead and move this all out of the way so I can show you an example of a game. All right, so before the game starts, the two sides have to put their rulers out. So I'm going to go ahead and put the ruler out for this one, and I'm going to flip this over so that way you can see it. Then I'm going to put the Sacred Princess of Guidance, like so. And then I'm going to use the stone deck, which, by the way, you can have, I believe it's 10 to 20 stones is what I was told. And I have 10 to 20 stones here. I'm going to put this right here, like so. I can just move this like this. Perfect. It looks a little crooked, actually. I'm going to try to. There we go. All right. And then I have another deck. This actually is a deck that I use for a tournament that I went to on Sunday, I believe. So I'm going to move this. My stone deck. Show you the different stones that are in the stone deck. And put it over here. And move this one right here. I'll do it like this. Okay. Anyway, for those of you who are wondering, I forgot to flip this. You see, this is another ruler, Crimson Girl in the Sky. This is one of my favorite rulers in the game so far, just because of its ability to buff up creatures immensely. So basically, make sure that your deck is set and shuffle the deck. So I'm going to shuffle both my decks here. The great mechanic about having a separate stone deck is, in fact, that you cannot get what they call mana screwed in Magic the Gathering, unless, of course, you have way too many quote-unquote colors. Again, they're called attributes in this game. They pretty much reworded everything so that it wouldn't, kind of didn't want to deal with the IP that Wizards of the Coast has on Magic the Gathering, which I totally understand by every means. I totally understand. So I'm going to put that right here, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the other one. So in the beginning of the game, you decide, basically, you can like roll a dice, do rock, paper, scissors, whatever, to decide who goes first. And in my case, I'm going to have the red side go first. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 5 cards. Each side will draw 5 cards to start. So I'm going to have the red side go first. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my hand, so that way you see what I got. For those of you who play Magic the Gathering, this is going to look very weird because, in fact, there is no mana that actually gets put into your hand. You can see right here. I'm very shitty with this camera focusing there. Okay, like that. So once a turn, you can have your ruler rest. They call it rest, not tapped in this game. You can have your ruler rest, like so, in order to bring out a stone. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out a stone, like so. All right, this is one of those special true magic stones that I told you about. As you can see there, I'm pretty much going to use its produce 1 green ability. So I will produce 1 green, like so. And then I'm going to tap it, and then summon any of my cards here that is worth 1 green. Now, since I can use the 2 flying carpets, but the problem is that they are additions, and I don't really have anything that I can attach to these resonators yet. But I do have the Cowardly Lion, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to summon the Cowardly Lion out to the field. Now, the Cowardly Lion has an ability, as you can see, continuous. Whenever this card deals damage to your opponent, you can put an achievement counter on this card. And it gains 300, 300 for each achievement counter on it. Now, a lot of people will call this a 2/2 creature. It's a 200, 200. It doesn't matter how you say it, you get the stats. The reason why they use 2/2 is because just about every Resonator that has been out so far has been done its stats in multiples of 100. All right, so I'm just going to leave that like this, and I'm going to say that the turn's over. Now I'm going to look at the hand of this one. So I look at the hand, like so. I can see that I got a pretty high-level hand, so all I can really do is I get to draw a card on my second turn, which, again, this one requires 4 will. So I'm just going to go ahead and rest my princess and bring out this stone. All right, so the next thing that I can do is I untap everything, then I draw. I believe it's untap, draw, upkeep. For those of you who are more skilled in this game, you can probably correct me on that. I know it's a little bit different from Magic the Gathering in that sense. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at I'm going to go ahead and rest my Crimson Girl in the Sky again. I'm going to put out another one, which again, this is a Magic Stone of Moonlight. This produces a special type of will known as Moon. And yeah. But pretty much, this is better used for third sets, but, you know, these special magic stones, I kind of like to use them a lot, so I just usually do it accordingly. And then it produces 1 will also of any other attribute that a magic stone I control can produce, which means it can produce green, and I'm going to do that. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take these two like so, and I'm going to put 2 flying carpets. I'm going to put 1 flying carpet. Sorry. I'm just going to take 1 green, and I'm going to put 1 flying carpet into the Cowardly Lion. This will allow me to draw a card, and it lets the Cowardly Lion gain flying. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. Oh, look at that! I got a Wind Dagger. I'm thinking about attaching it to that, but I'll be honest with you, I'm going to wait for a Tin Man, and I will show you why. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack for 200, basically resting my Lion and attacking my opponent for 200. Now, obviously, there are no Resonators on this side of the field, so it takes 200. Not only on top of that, but this also gets an achievement counter, so now it is up to 500 attack. Good show. Anyway, yeah, it sounds British there. Anyway, I'm going to end my turn there, and I will say go. So on this side, I will untap everything, draw. And with the upkeep, well, there's nothing really that is available right now for me in the upkeep. So I'm just going to go ahead and rest my princess and put another will out on the field. Now, I actually have options here. So I'm going to go ahead and start using some of the options here. Here I have a Little Mermaid of Tragic Love. It costs 1 and a blue. If my camera can focus very well. There we go. 1 and a blue. So I'm going to use it. Basically, when it's put into the graveyard from my field, draw a card, and my opponent must block the card if able. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I will bring out the Mermaid. And that pretty much ends my turn. On this turn, untap everything, draw a card, and take a look at what I got. Ooh, nice. I like this card a lot because it can just pretty much summon out any stone that you wish. Well, any green stone that you wish. They call it wind stones here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, I will rest my Crimson Girl and bring out another stone. There, my first basic magic stone for once. I'm going to go ahead and put it out like this. All right, so after that, I'm going to go ahead and I think I will I think I'm going to go ahead and play Gretel. So I'm going to go ahead and play Gretel. That costs 1 and 1 green. Wind, sorry, magic terms. And then I can, with the ability, look at the top card of my Magic Stone deck. If it is a wind Magic Stone of any sort, then I can put it into the Magic Stone area, which it is. All right, now I have 2. So what else can I do with it? Well, I do have this Glinda the Fairy, which is really nice because that means that it makes sure that a Resonator cannot be blocked until the end of the turn, which really I don't really need right now. I also have a Zeke's, the Ancient Magic, which is a very powerful ability if you have Crimson Girl of the Sky. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wait it out for this Zeke's card. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say end my turn. All right, that's done. Then I'm going to move on to this guy. So oh right, I can't end my turn yet. I forgot, I'm going to attack with the Cowardly Lion. Now since the Cowardly Lion has flying, the mermaid cannot block it, so it deals another 200. This shuts this side down to 3,600. This is a couple rounds of how to play this game. I'm going to play one more round on this side, so that way you can see a little bit of how this game works. Just a little bit more. So basically, at this rate, I'm going to have my princess go ahead and rest like this. I'm going to just play out this turn, and then I'm going to play out a turn where there's a J ruler involved, so that you can see how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and use all three of these, and I'm going to play. Let's see what this one is. I want to say this one. Shallow's Giant Dolphin. That works. All right. So I'm going to have the mermaid attack. And since its ability is that everyone must block it if able, Gretel is the only one that is able to block. So Gretel must block the mermaid, pretty much taking it out. Like so. And that ends the turn right there. All right, now I get the opportunity to show you what a J ruler is. So as you can see, there's a ruler card, like so. I draw. I am going to pay the 3 required in order to J-activate this, which pretty much turns the ruler into a J ruler. And lo and behold, there she is. So I can bring her out like so. And her ability is basically, well, the main ability of it is cannot be targeted by darkness or fire spells or darkness or fire cards abilities, which there's no darkness or fire cards, period. If a spell or ability would increase attack or defense of resonators you control, it increases by double, and if it would decrease it, it would negate it. Basically saying that this Cowardly Lion that now has 2 achievement counters on it, instead of it getting a plus 300 boost for each achievement counter, it would get a plus 600 boost on each achievement counter. Should this J ruler die, it would go back like this and pretty much remain there for the rest of the game. So now the Cowardly Lion is up to 1,400. I'm going to look at the rest of my hand. I'm going to play the Familiar of Holy Wind, and I'm going to draw a card. Because the ability is to, well, draw a card, basically. Yeah. And then I will have this attack for 1,400. Since this is flying, this cannot do anything about it, and it gets another achievement counter, and pretty much by next turn, my opponent is pretty much done for. So that is how you play the Force of Will trading card game. And if this camera would stop being so blurry, I would just say, thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm going to put the subscribe link. That'll be shown throughout the entire video, probably around right here somewhere. You probably see it right there. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all soon next time. Possibly on the next casual podcast, possibly on my next vlog if I do a vlog, or on the next Let's Play, which, by the way, yes, I know it's been a couple weeks since I've done a Let's Play, but part of that is because Petra has been extremely busy, and I do not want to do a Let's Play without her because I know she would be pissed at me if I did. Alright, everyone. Bye.